Today we are looking at the concept of business environment. The concept of business environment, or the concept of environment, literally means the surroundings, internal, intermediate, and external objects, influences, or circumstances under which someone or something exists. The environment within which something exists exhibits certain characteristics which have been identified to be complexity, dynamism, multifaceted, and far-reaching impact. These are apart from the simple and stable environmental conditions. Environment in the literature is a term used to capture certain factors or forces which are outside the control of an organization, but which such an organization must react and respond to if it must survive and realize its goals that it has set for itself. It is a truism that one cannot appreciate the circumstance surrounding the activities of an organization unless one fully understands the environment wherein such an organization thrives and operates. For simplicity, there are three approaches usually adopted in literature when it comes to the subject of understanding the concept of environment. We shall briefly look at them as follows. Firstly, is the approach of what could be called input system output analysis. Input system output analysis. In this approach, the organization is seen as a system which imports various kinds of inputs from the environment, such as labor, management, capital, etc., which it transforms to products, which are either goods or services, as outputs back to the environment for consumption and satisfaction of the needs and wants which initiated the production exercise in the first place. Secondly, the approach of capturing the relationship between organization and its environment is by looking at the mutual demands and expectations between it and its various stakeholders. These stakeholders sometimes are seen as its wider publics, comprise the government, customers, stakeholders, shareholders, management, employees, and the community at large. Again, we can simulate this series of mutual demands and expectations as follows. 1. Government. Expectations and demands of government. Payment of taxes, adherence to government law, policies and laws, and improvement of the welfare of its citizenry. To provide an enabling environment that is secured and peaceful to operate. 2. Shareholders. What are the expectations of shareholders? Dividends arising from increased profitability and business survival. Adequate supply of capital as and when due, as well as payment of salaries to the employees of the organization. 3. Employees. What are the expectations from business? Payment of salaries, provision of goods, of good working condition and survival of the business, maximum work effort and productivity. Management. Management expects good pay, enhanced working conditions, growth and survival, good management full of innovation and creativity, state-of-the-art goods and services that is time compliant, customers request operating as a good corporate citizen and discharging social responsibilities. Of course, the community at large welcome a peaceful relationship between the community and the business entity. Thirdly, the approach is to view organization as operating in an environment which offers to it opportunities and constraints. These opportunities and constraints are classified into what is generally regarded as the elements of the environment. They are the economic environment, socio-cultural environment, political and legal environment, technological environment, etc. This is the approach we are going to use in discussing the concept of business environment. Having highlighted what business environment is, let us look at another term that is critical in discussing business environment, which is scanning. Scanning, which is the next operative word, simply means careful examination of an area with a view to seeking out a person or a thing in the area. Environmental scanning simply means a careful examination of the environment with a view to identifying opportunities to maximize and contain and minimize stress along the lines dictated by missions and goals of a particular business. Scanning is also defined as the monitoring, evaluating, and dissemination of information from the external environment to key people within the corporation or organization. It is important to reiterate that this exercise must be done on a continual basis so as to keep track of changes in the environment. What then is entrepreneurial environment? The entrepreneurial environment is simply the surroundings within which a business exists. So when we talk about the entrepreneurial environment, we are looking at that environment in which a business organization exists and operates. The environment of the business exhibits the following conditions and characteristics. 1. Stable condition. This environment is highly predictable, thus permitting a great deal of standardization, that is, work process, skills, and output to take place within the organization. Simple condition. This environment is one where knowledge can be broken down into easily comprehended components. Dynamism. The business environment is not static. It is dynamic and as such changes continuously. This is because of the interactions of the various factors that make up the business environment. 4. Complexity. The business environment is not simple. It is complex by virtue of the various components that comprise it and the interactions and interrelationships among these factors. 5. Multifaceted. The business environment is many-sided. It can be viewed from many angles by the parties involved. Hence, an occurrence that is viewed as strength to an organization may be perceived as weakness by another. 6. Far-reaching impact. The happenings in the business environment can have enormous impact on the organization. It could have the ripple effect. This is because the business environment can be conceived as a system, specifically an open system made up of different components that interact and interrelate with one another. Hence, when there is a problem or development within one aspect or sector, it could have far-reaching impact on the other aspect of sectors. 7. Flexibility. Entrepreneurs do not base on one best solution but they usually improvise the response to the changing environment. 8. Opportunity orientation. This refers to the ability to identify and analyze market opportunities which individuals take advantage of. They always look for opportunities and exploit them. 9. Uncertainty. It refers to a possibility of unexpected risk. The entrepreneurial environment is full of risk, which entrepreneurs do not fear to exploit and lead in uncertainty. 10. Resource scarcity. It refers to limited resources like time, finance, skills, and others. This affects new firms, but entrepreneurs see it as a chance to exploit. 11. Totality of external forces. Business environment is the sum total of all the things external to business firms, and as such is aggregative in nature. 12. Specific and general forces. Business environment includes both specific and general forces. Specific forces such as investors, customers, competitors, and suppliers affect individual enterprises directly and immediately in their day-to-day working. General forces such as social, political, legal, and technological conditions have impact on all business enterprises and thus may affect an individual firm indirectly only. By virtue of the above characteristics, it is important for the entrepreneur to monitor the business environment constantly. Thus, it is of fundamental importance for the entrepreneur to monitor both the key macro environmental forces, which include demographic, economic, technological, political, legal, and socio-cultural, and micro environmental forces, which include customers, competition, distribution channels, and suppliers, that will affect the ability to earn profits in the marketplace. These macro environmental forces and micro environmental forces are the components of the business environment. Entrepreneurial ventures operate in an environment where they compete with other organizations for resources. Organizations operate not only locally at home, but also internationally in countries around the world. Operating in business environment is uncertain, and the environment itself is also uncertain and unpredictable because it is complex and constantly changing. Entrepreneurial environment refers to the combination of external factors and their organic integration, which make an impact on the startup process of the business by the entrepreneur. It also refers to the various phases within which enterprises, micro, medium, small, big, and others have to operate. More elaborately, the term entrepreneurial environment refers to the aggregate of all forces, factors, and institutions which are internally affecting the business through management structure and policies, as well as which are externally affecting the business beyond the control of the individual business enterprises, but which influence their functioning. Business involves activities which links an organization with the outside world. Within an organization, a business is governed by the behavior of its employees, management, or decision makers. In other words, business environment may be defined as all those conditions and forces external to a business under which it operates. The environment, therefore, influences the enterprise. By and large, an environment created by political, social, economic, national, legal forces, etc., influences entrepreneurship. Thank you, and see you in our next lecture.